Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Well, particularly your ears for this, because we are an audio medium. Like, let's be honest here. That's really what we do. We are an audio medium, but oh my lord,
radio.
Oh my lord, it has been a minute, and holy mackerel. There's just been a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on in the world. A lot of stuff going on in pop culture and social commentary. And we are running to catch up. But here we are. We are back. The boys are back in town. I'll save you the karaoke till my birthday later on this year. There, gentlemen, just so you know, you're both invited. We're already starting to plan the festivities. There will be a karaoke machine. We are going to get fucked up, and we're going to sing some karaoke. RaShaun, that means you too, okay?
I'll be out of town.
Now. Oh, yeah, sure you will. No, you won't. I will fucking hunt you down. I'll bring your ass back to my house and get you drunk, and we will sing some karaoke. Like, that shit's going to happen. That's a given. You can't get away. It's inevitable. It's death and taxes inevitable. You'll be in the hospital. All right, we'll bring the party to you. That's okay. I've had that happen. True story. I had that happen. I had some drunk people come visit me in the hospital after surgery, and I was having trouble with my catheter. That was a hell of a scene. Let me tell you.
That's a hell of a statement.
As a hell of a statement, I will leave names out. One of them was a registered nurse, and she was like, I can handle. I'm like, no, she was actually a nurse practitioner, and she's like, I'm like, no, I love you, but you're not dealing with the catheter in your current state. No, I'm not going to get you in trouble from that. The nurse on the station at the time was not helping me out. I'm like, this is not working. This is anyway. You know me. I'm always good for that. It is the Birdman, back here with my compatriots, with the men, the myth, the legend themselves. Let me introduce you around the table of geek. First off, we've got the three of clubs, the man himself, Mr. RaShaun Smith. Welcome yourself back to the people and introduce yourself and tell them what's going on. What's what?
What it do? How do you do? Happy to be with all of you. And that's basically all I got. Nice to see everyone.
Oh, it is so good to see all your smiling faces. We're working on it. We're slogging it through. We're here. It's 2024, baby.
Life is lifing.
Life, it continues to life. It's an election year, and oh God, oh boy. All right. We're it's a hell of a start. It's January. Weather outside here in New England, can't tell what the hell it wants to do. It's apoplectic. It snows. It goes to 50.
Yeah, that's right. Pardon my manners. Happy robocall year, everyone.
Oh yeah. Happy text here for donations. And all that good stuff.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah. No, you're gonna get a lot of stuff going on. Depending on your age demographic, maybe, who knows, maybe there'll be some cool TikToks for you, because that's what the kids are into. So they tell me.
The TikToks.
The TikToks. You'll get all of that going on. And you heard the voice of the indubitable, the indomitable, the commendable. Trying to find any other L's out there. Any other L's I missed there, Greg? It is the one, the only Star Child, Greg DeSense, joining us today in the Steam Tunnels. How you doing, Greg?
I'm good. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him.
Well said. The man goes with my Shakespearean references. I love it. Okay, you can hang with me.
We're doing speeches.
I am gonna look like Hampton Beach in this situation. Oh,
that's right. We're doing speeches. I didn't do the cry havoc. So
that's of course right. They'd be more like the lion.
the dogs of war.
Anyone got some spare Timberlands?
Okay,
spare Timberlands on.
There you go. Are Timberlands still a thing? I don't even know anymore.
We'll be where I'm going, because this is definitely.
It's more Jordans now. It's like all Jordans now. It's just everybody. People wearing Jordans with suits. Like everybody.
It's amazing how many Jordan. And I see Jordans on the kids now, and they're like the exact replica of the original Jordans with the.
Them motherfuckers have been making a fortune on the same 5 shoes since I was in the 6th grade.
It's impressive.
Yeah, they
It's
make bank, man.
impressive.
Yep.
I saw a photo of a friend of mine. She was back on a cheerleading squad way back when for a professional team. I won't go any further than that. But
Ooh, name
but
drop.
but the
Ooh.
she was wearing some Reebok pumps, and I'm like, holy shit, those are Reebok pumps! Holy shit! Like the whole squad had them. Like they outfitted them. I'm like, do you remember those? Do you remember how much those cost? That was a big deal. Like to have the pumps back in the day, that shit was for real. So
It
Yeah.
shows
that
how
was the
fucking
dynamic.
bored we were.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, without a doubt. It was the Jordans because they had the air sort of cushioning in them, and then they had the pumps, which like contour it to your feet. Right. That's how exactly shoe technology. That was the deal.
Yes. I was that kid with British Knights. I won't lie.
Oh, BK. All right.
All right.
Supposedly that was dangerous in LA, but I never really confirmed that. I don't
Whatever,
know.
man.
I don't know. That was the urban legend. Like you didn't want to wear BKs because so
Just
that
saying.
was all right. Fair enough.
I think you would have been safe regardless.
Probably, really likely.
I ain't gonna try, man. In
I
those
mean, now
days,
maybe
yo,
not.
you will get shot in Los Angeles. So I would not know.
That was certainly the reputation it had at the time. That
You will get shot in Los Angeles.
That was always it, especially. And then we saw Colors, and then that was that. Right? It was just, oh my god, oh my god! It was
I am not going to Los Angeles.
To Los Angeles. Holy shit! Did you see that movie? Did you see what just happened there?
I'm not going to Los Angeles. Why would
I
you
gotta
go
tell
to
you,
Los
my
Angeles?
takeaway was beware of anyone who looked like Robert Duvall.
Damn sure. Like without a doubt.
Or any other people in uniform.
Colors.
That was my takeaway.
Colors.
Zach, you heard Ice-T rapping. You heard all of it there. It was all going on. Well, speaking of things that inspire you, speaking of those things that take you to that other place, right? Which, well, I don't know how I don't know sometimes how I get where I get, and how I tied Colors into this. I'll have no idea, and it would probably 99 times out of 100 never happen. But nevertheless, this is where we end up. We are here. We are the Steam Gentlemen, your number one source. Your side dish. Oh yeah, there's plenty of those always. Come on, man. Those are the best part of the meal. We had Tuds going on, and we are the Steam Gentlemen, your number one source for pop culture, social commentary. And today we want to talk about what inspires you, what gets you out there ready to fight, what gets you out there as the underdog, like the Detroit Lions, who I'm pulling for this playoff season. Let's go Detroit. Come on. Lions, pick it up. Let's go. What are those speeches? What is the one that gets you out there? What is the one that makes you laugh? Whatever it is, what is the thing that inspires you? What takes you to that next level, that next place? And the best part about this subject, hey, there you go. The best part about this subject is it was inspired by our own Three of Clubs, Mr. RaShaun Smith himself, which is why I'm throwing his ass under the bus, and he gets to go first today. Like he gets to be first on the chopping block when it comes down to our discussion of those inspiring speeches. So, Three of Clubs, step on up, man. It's been a little while. Let's talk to the people. Let's tell them what you got going on.
Yeah, all right. After that speech, I mean, it's kind of hard to concentrate on any other speeches that I would hold to a high esteem, considering that lead in. I mean, that was definitely uproaring and invigorating. I hope with this car crash of a segment that I'm about to do that we have the happiest time since Danny Kaye tap dance with Bing fucking Crosby. If we're gonna talk about speeches. Honestly, I not surprisingly, probably anyone who's listened to more than 5 episodes, I have no connection to the idea that I brought up months ago. It came up in a whim. I'm sure it was connected. Just like every other list that we try to create, I am no longer trying to act like I'm going to create the ultimate list. I'm just going to really kind of come to whichever speeches come to mind from movies, because I am not as erudite as my fellow members. I mean, I guess I could go to if you prick me, thus thou not bleed, but that's basically the best of what I got. And frankly, it's not even so much that I remember the Merchants of Venice so much. It's so much that my dad would say that all the time when I was growing up. So it kind of has a little bit more to do with that. Also, the funny intersection of being a Black American, especially one in his 40s, he grew up with a lot of inspirational movies. So I guess the automatic connection or guess would be like, naming movies like Stand By Me, which, I'm there for, I'm down for, baseball bat Joe and, how he's getting people in line. I felt like I was Sam sometimes when he spoke. So, there's always that there. We can always go the glory route and there's several speeches in there, one where your head explodes directly after, but definitely gets you ready for things. I also grew up, I was in my teens in the 90s, late 90s, and I guess technically early 2000s. So playing football, there was always, the go-to speeches. Some I agreed with, some I didn't. Some I always thought were completely overblown. I mean, general sports, everyone went to Hoosiers. And then as football, you always had like things like the program that people went to, which I always found hilarious because it's like, I don't know if we're taking the right message away from it.
Ooh.
Or even to a certain extent,
Shit.
things like Varsity Blues or anything like that. So I guess I could go in that route, but I'm not because, frankly, if I'm going to be honest, they never really suck. Oh, we were the Titans. People always go to that one too. Not bad. Rudy, people like to go to with those speeches. So if I had to really kind of lean towards some speeches that I always think about that kind of move me forward, I do. I almost feel like I can predict who you are if I'm having a conversation with you and you say Braveheart. It's like, all right, not to stereotype, but you did just tell me a lot about you. And to a certain extent, same thing if like your favorite speech came from fucking Fight Club in any variation. I mean, I am Robert Paulson. You're probably telling me who you are. You probably also have skulls in
My
your
name is
face.
Robert Paulson.
So,
And your beard is probably pretty long at this point. Like really long. And yeah.
Probably, probably. And there's definitely that. I mean, the thing with watching a bunch of movies and TV shows is you're gonna come across things that are inspiring because if I were to take a second to, extend my time and act like I knew what I was talking about, or I currently know what the fuck I'm talking about, I would point out speeches have a lot to do with not only where you are in the moment when you receive the speech, but also the moment in which the speech happens. So those two things need to, in a lot of ways, certain like almost like chemistry, have to create a certain formula or solution for you to have that sort of hormonal response and experience. So that's why it's so varied, or why sometimes the Venn diagram seems like just one circle. You can argue that things that are inspiring or arousing are somewhat of a similar list across the globe. Or you can also argue that when it happens, our response to the condition of that incident has a lot more to do with our reception of the words being spoken by someone that we put our faith in to help us move through the situation than more to actually the words itself. Or sometimes it's just a kick-ass speech and you have no connection to it at all, and it moves you in a certain direction and it makes you feel a certain way when ultimately you find out the speech maybe had something to do with how you're feeling and how it inspired you and how it moved you, but in a lot of different ways had no connection to you whatsoever or even what you're thinking. And funny enough, as my brain tends to work, which is never a straight line or a through line, but definitely a fucking labyrinth of a spiral, I somehow moved myself back to actually what made me think of the idea in the first place. I did not script this, but here we are. So actually, what made me think about this was I was in the middle of the workout, and one of my favorite Linkin Park songs starts with a speech that we have actually talked about a few different times on TSG, sometimes with our esteemed other gentleman, Michael Gleason. because I always
Mike,
assumed that it
shut
came
up.
from Harvey Milk. It did not come from Harvey Milk. It actually came from something that, I think all three of us and a lot of people who listen to it is in fact connected to, in the sense that there was somewhat of a labor movement that actually the speech was connected to. However, there was also an LGBT plus connection to it as well. So that's probably why I conflated the two. However, I didn't know anything about that when I first fucking heard that speech, and it had nothing to do with it. And the connection to the song that it had, I think, obviously had some connection to the people who made the song. They did it intentionally. But when I first came across the song, it was working out, so it was almost inspired me to keep pushing and moving. And then, furthermore, the more I listened to it, it made me sort of have an imagination and things based off an inspiration that the speech actually came. And by the way, people, this segment of the song is literally like 10 seconds. So really, I'm not even listening to the whole speech. It's just, this is part of the reason why I texted, you have no connection to the inspiration of which you're feeling from the speech. That is in which I think Josh kind of missed what I was saying, like normal. I love you, Josh, but that's kind of how we operate. That's actually how we got our namesake. So here we are in the sense of that's my point. It's like I had no connection to it. It made me literally want to work out harder sometimes, or drove me to such an inspirational creativity that allowed me to create certain or write certain things that I was trying to, express that were coming from my head that normally came from listening to songs like that one that started with that speech. But I had to just lean to round out the 10 minutes and lean to a couple of movie references just so to also point out speeches you kind of have no real reason to actually feel the way you do, but you do anyway, for the chemistry that I pointed out. First one that always comes to mind, and I do love it, despite how cheesy it may be in the moment or the movie in which it is attached to. But I'm going to go with my man Harry Connick Jr. talking about the Black Knights rising into fucking battle in Independence Day. Fuck yeah, I am here for it every single time. I am ready to fly against an unstoppable force, knowing full well I'm gonna fucking die immediately, like my man Harry Connick Jr. did. I mean, almost as soon as he was talking about the Black Knights rising up, he was fucking blown apart, and we all knew it was coming. But it was like kind of, all right, I could be a little Randy Quaid in this situation. I'm in. Well, like fucking put me in a biplane. I'm flying into this shit because Harry Connick Jr. He just told me about the Black Knights rising up, so I'm fucking going with him. So I could point out that. Also, another quick obvious one I think a lot of people think when they're looking at someone who may share my demographic is going right to Deep Blue Sea. Here's the problem, people. Only a few people were surprised when watching that movie. And I got to tell you, they definitely look a lot like me because I was watching. I knew exactly the guy was fucking dead. Matter of fact, that was the whole reason why he was having the speech. Also, quick shout out to another speech from my man Samuel L. Jackson that was just as phenomenal that I kind of made reference to earlier today. That I wasn't even thinking about until I made the reference, but everyone was quoting Julius's speech in the late 90s coming from Pulp Fiction. But I'm going to end my time with the most inspirational speech maybe of my lifetime outside of, obvious cultural importance and events is my man Mikey talking about this is our time down here right now from Goonies. Maybe one of the best speeches of my life, and I have no real reason to have connection to a bunch of suburban white kids stuck in a cavern underneath a decrepit seasonal restaurant, being chased by gangsters and looking for a pirate treasure. But I do, and I love it.
That's America, baby. That's the best part.
There it is.
That's red, white, and blue, baby. We don't run.
That's it. Exactly. They were in Oregon. They were in Oregon of all places, and we all felt like we were connected.
Shout out.
Yeah, exactly. We were all, felt like somehow we were connected.
For you, it's
in the pirate ship.
Enough.
I do have to say, if you're
good enough.
He's doing. Oh man, I didn't even realize that. Yeah. Greg going with the Cyndi Lauper. Misunderstood genius, by the way. I think she's quite amazing, actually.
But she does not get enough credit.
We could do a whole episode
in the early 80s.
A whole episode on Cyndi Lauper.
Write it down. I'm in.
Yeah. All right, we get a whole episode on Cyndi Lauper with that. But I would say, RaShaun, by the way, if anyone's quoting, like anyone's going to the program, I sort of put it up there with like on the Rick and Morty Rick Sanchez and Killdozer, and actually Tyler Durden, since we're talking about Fight Club. Like if you're idolizing them, you're missing the point. Like on your list of, did you just watch that movie and see what was going on? Because there's a lot to unpack here. Maybe if you just went with the rousing speech, yeah, maybe you're not getting it.
Especially Fight Club, because it's like you're literally going against the protagonist of the movie at the end of the movie. If that's your takeaway, you are literally going against not only who the movie is based around or who the conflict is supposed to resolve around, but literally the protagonist of the entire story you are going against. You're actively.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I'd have to agree with that. All right.
Which is fun, I guess, to say that.
Which is fun. I mean, it's good, if it's what you're gonna do, if you're gonna take
that's it. The point of the movie. Like, no, it's not. No, the protagonist tells you the point of the movie.
Point of the movie, point blank.
That's why it's the protagonist.
You're kind of missing the point. All right, let me step in the box here, but let me just say that when it comes down to it, I think all speeches are trying to equate themselves and try to bring themselves up. If you're really having a speech, you're trying to match King Henry V, right? When it comes to Shakespeare and the rousing speech that Shakespeare writes for him at the Battle of Agincourt, which of course is the ultimate underdog story, right? Just hundreds of fewer troops, deep in the heart of France, and just trying to rally that, even so much to the point that Laurence Olivier playing the role of Henry V during World War II was seen as just a rallying cry for the British, right? Of course, the Germans are trying to come across the channel, and this is the thing here telling you to hold fast. To me, that's always what the cornerstone of the speech is somehow. Now, I think you mentioned Remember the Titans, RaShaun, going on in there. And I think when it comes down,
sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Just thank you for cleaning that up. It's Remember the Titans and We Are Marshall.
We Are Marshall. Okay,
I kind of put those two together. Both have speeches, just so we're clear. I mean, sports movie, you have to have a speech.
Yeah,
have to have a speech.
Maybe multiple.
It's a football. Yeah, so
unnecessary reference. No,
oh yeah, when it comes to that, like the sports movie is the place for the speech. Like you've got the war movie and you've got the sports movie. So that's kind of where I'm going to go. So I'm going to go for honorable mention here for first runner up for speech, which is a little known Disney movie starring Kurt Russell called Miracle. All right. About the 80s Miracle on Ice. Now, listen, I'm a hockey fan. We're part of a hockey family here. My son's playing hockey. So I keep trying to show him the movie. He's like, whatever, Dad, I don't want to see that. But he's watching Indiana Jones with me. So, all right, that's
because he has taste.
That's right. That's making my heart proud. But when it comes down to it, here it was people, the kids listening to this, you don't know. It was the 1980s. Okay. It was the Soviets. Reagan had just been elected, for Christ's sake. We had no idea. We didn't even know at that point what was going to go down. We all lived with the expectation that we were going to be nuked off the face of the planet any given fucking moment. Listen,
any day
honest,
now. I blame the lead paint.
Listen. Gen Y and Gen Z. I'm talking to here. I'm your very favorable elder here. I really think you guys have been given a raw deal. I think people talk shit about you too much and they think you're soft, and I don't think you are. I think you've lived through some shit that we didn't live through, but this was some shit that you didn't live through. We woke up on any given day really
13 states are threatening civil war right now. I think they're there.
All right, yeah. I'm just saying at that particular point in time, we expected the nukes to start dropping at any given moment. Like that was certainly my experience growing up. So yeah, this hockey game suddenly between the Soviets and the U.S. during that time ends up becoming this entire moment, right? It's not even the gold medal round. Everyone forgets that. We beat the Swedish for the gold medal. This was just to get to the gold medal round. And what it was about, a bunch of college kids versus a bunch of Soviet professionals that were, doped to the gills on the earliest versions of steroids. These are the real steroids, people. This was the shit that made you into a. This was like this was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde when it comes down to it. But that's it. So we're going to it. All right. Great moments are born from great opportunity. And that's what you have here tonight, boys. That's what you've earned here tonight. One game. If we played them 10 times, they might not win. They might win 9, but not this game. Not tonight. Tonight we skate with them. Tonight we stay with them, and we shut them down because we can. Tonight we are the greatest hockey team in the world. You were born to be hockey players, every one of you. And you were meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. And I'm sick and tired of hearing about what a great hockey team these Soviets have. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it. All right? Come on. I have no idea if that speech really happened. But for Christ's sake, I really hope it did.
They stole that from Hunt from Red Hogtober.
Fair enough. I mean, it may have happened that way. It may have gone down that way. They may have stolen it. It may have never been said in history. I don't care.
Williams sold me.
There you go. Cat Williams out there telling you who did it. I have no idea if it ever happened, but I've coached a couple of kids for soccer now, and I've usually just been like, yeah, go out there and have fun. I've never even come close to that shit in my life. It is never that. I think I had to tell one of my players, like, this was not Manchester United because he kept flopping. I'm like, come here.
What the fuck?
Come here. You are not Manchester United. Stop flopping because you're hurting your team right now. Actually, they're never going to pull a yellow card here. This is town soccer. Stop it. Knock that shit
that's
off.
true. Yeah.
Which I think was probably my most inspiring
still
speech,
hockey?
but yeah, that's but when it comes down to it, like, that is the idea. You are trying somehow to reach those inner depths, to find that place that inspires someone in what potentially can be a dire situation. So that brings me to truly what I think is the greatest speech of all time. And it's a military speech. And that's really, right? That's that moment. Honestly, these speeches, certainly in the modern battlefield, never happen. I saw a great thing talking about, like, everything that Hollywood gets wrong about the modern battlefield. They totally, they don't understand artillery, which is really what kills everybody. They don't understand how loud it is. So, the rousing speeches of the guy, the young lieutenant who takes command and, like, gets his, by yelling loud enough and gets his squad together. That shit doesn't happen. Nobody can hear shit. All right.
What?
Nobody can hear a damn
Go
thing.
on.
Just not happening. But really, when it comes down to it, if you're talking about it, especially I think in the modern age, this is the speech that has to be given. I'll give it to you right here. This is the speech I think everyone who's about to go and put their lives on the line should hear. Don't fight for your king. Don't fight for his kingdoms, and don't fight for honor. Don't fight for his glory. Don't fight for riches, because you won't get any. This is your city. This is your city. Stannis means to stack. Your gate he's ramming. If he gets in, it will be your houses he burns, your gold he steals, and your women he rapes. Those are brave men knocking at the door. Let's go kill them. 110%. Okay, like, that is exactly the fact of the matter. Anyone who's, and it's been true. That's why that speech is so good. And that is Tyrion's speech at the Battle of the Blackwater from none other than Game of Thrones. And that's why it's so damn true, right? I started by referencing Agincourt. You know what it is? That's a load of shit. Agincourt is like, hey, we screwed up and we're in a terrible situation and we're going to have to fight our way out. And we're most likely going to die. But of course, somehow he manages to, Shakespeare, through the lens of time, when he was not there and he was not fighting there. And it's something that had happened 100 years before he was born. Maybe even 200. I don't even know the exact dates, but nevertheless, here is this rousing speech, right? And it really works. It's a great piece of Shakespearean literature, right? But in fact, that's the cinema of the day, right? That is the theater. And it gets us there. It peers back. What I loved about that moment in Game of Thrones is it was one of the most real things ever, right? The dwarf who no one thinks of anything, the king has run. He's terrified, right? He's a prepubescent child and has no idea what the hell he's doing and never should have been put in charge in the first place. And it all falls down to this guy. What does he got to say? I don't know, guys. Like, here's the deal. Your back is against the wall. You're not going to get anything out of this other than maybe the chance to live another day. So, yeah, those are brave men out there. Let's go kill them. Nothing sums it up better for me than that. That was the truest moment maybe I've ever seen on film. I just thought, goddamn, if that's the one they should be giving to, that's the one they should be teaching to kids. And yeah, I know truth when I see it. And right there, that was what was going on, right? As I adore Tyrion for that. I adore that character for just the way, and it's everything that builds up, and it's the fact that he's a dwarf and he's been tortured by his own family for a good portion of his life. Absolutely loved that speech, and wish I could tattoo it somewhere on my body. It's probably a little bit long. So
no, it's definitely long.
Yeah, that's a bit too long for that one. But that's my entry there for speeches.
That's a good one, because the thing about Tyrion that actually makes him the only character that's probably as smart as Tywin is the fact that he doesn't go up there and try to give that speech, because you're going to lose your whole fucking army. But because, I could speak to being a misfit, he actually understands how these people think, because these are the guys in the brothels with him. These are the guys in the bars with him, like while his family is having all of these fine dinners, he's down here with the plebs and the poor. So he knows what really makes these guys tick. And a God and country speech
well said.
Is not going to work on this crowd. No.
No.
Look. You need to go and you need to fight like hell, not to save my ass. I'm probably going to end up trampled. Just do it to save your ass, because this is all you've got. You can either die here, or you can die in the town, or you can fight your ass off and try to live another day. So I thought it was a brilliant speech too. And it talks about why Tyrion is such a brilliant character.
I will quote also as well, Blake Clark. He hasn't been around for a while. He was a comedian that had a little bit of a moment in the mid to late 80s. And he was a Vietnam vet, as a lot of guys were coming out of there. And he always said, I was such a wise ass and always a comedian. And he said, there I am in basic. I've been drafted. And my drill sergeant says, what are the two types of people on the battlefield? And the answer is supposed to be the quick and the dead, drill sergeant. And I pipe up the poor and the minorities, drill sergeant. Right? So, maybe a more condensed version of that speech, but there you go. So yeah. I gotta give it to my man, Blake Clark. He's not wrong. He's not.
If I were to add just my little two-piece about Tyrion, is that I would argue a little different in the sense, not what Greg said, fantastically put and stuff like that, and not necessarily what you're saying with your connection to the speech, Josh, should be clear. I feel like people kind of misunderstood his character in his experience, in the sense of that was kind of his conflict with his father. Yes, the first part of his life, he was discarded, but still a part of their kind of royalty. So not completely discarded and given everything he wanted. It was clear that he actually was the smartest of the three. His conflict with his father was that he wouldn't accept it, that he was actually against it. He chose to be in the brothels, and instead of actually kind of getting past a hard life, which his father kind of also made a point, all of you had hard lives as children. all of you were basically discarded because I didn't give a fuck about any of you. Like until you became something I could use,
Useful.
because that's part of what we do. That's part of the world. Like your sister, your brother. I didn't give a fuck about. Like I let your sister and your brother fuck. Like what do you think I cared about? You think I'm stepping in for you? I don't give a shit. I'm about this money. And then, here you are actually having a brain. You can get about this money too. And Tyrion's like, nah, I'm good with this brothel life. And frankly, he didn't actually fucking turn until his father was banging his girl. So, like, enough with I kind of feel like the nobility. I think the whole understanding of Game of Thrones was like every character was uniquely flawed to almost an evil extent.
Well, to defend my good man Tywin, the point of Tywin's character, which I also love, that's what is great about Martin.
Shout out to Charles Dance.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, come on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We need
a
a sequel
to,
I was gonna say we need a sequel to The Golden Child.
No.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
His father, you're gonna get one anyway. Don't worry about it.
You're getting one. Yeah.
Yeah. His father was weak and almost brought the whole family down. So he is kind of a hyper reaction to the times. And that's what I love about that character, because he understands that if you aren't doing it to the other guy's going to be doing it to you, whatever it is. So you'd best burn his fields. You'd best kill his whole family and his descendants if you want to have fields and descendants of your own. And just, I mean, what that says about not only war culture, but European culture, and how honest that is about the monarchy and the nature of warfare. I thought, you got to have a character like Tywin, because let's be honest, he's not wrong.
Someone's gonna say it. Someone's gonna do it.
Right?
You always know when it comes.
If you're not doing it to them, and actually, I think in his brother Kevin in the book, his brother Kevin, after spoiler alert, after Tywin dies, he points out the fact that Tywin was a perfect man for the times, because it's true. If you don't kill him, they will be killing all of you.
Well, all right. Well, with that,
what kind of family have to come from where you have Tywin and all those names and then Kevin?
Kevin,
Kevin, right?
Yeah, Kevin.
Way to go, Kevin.
Kevin, what the fuck, Kevin? You don't have the stomach for killing the entire village, Kevin. This is why I have to step up.
I mean, I guess it's kind of like my family. I mean, we got Warren, we got Billy, we got Andrew, and then RaShaun.
You got the good name. You got the good name. It's all good.
I know, right?
What happened with it? All right.
Also, I want
real quick about war movies. You can't take it seriously no matter what the speech is. I don't care if it's real or not, unless there's some Arabic nondescript singing in the background. Like,
absolutely.
That's just number one. That's history, really. I mean, we all know that.
Without a doubt. All right. Well, with that, Greg, let's hear what's your rousing speech here to get us out and ready to kick ass and win the football game, or win the basketball game, or win the war, whichever it is. Come on. What's it going to be?
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. Like, this was a really tough one for me, because I realized that not all speeches necessarily inspire. Because you know what? I'm not really on the football field or the battlefield. So I can actually think about this critically. You go ahead and say whatever you're going to say. All right. And then I'll let you know how I feel about it at the end of the day. But you know what? You kind of threw me off with the whole Mark Antony's speech in Caesar. So I do want to cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war. That was also a really great speech, but also my two favorite lines afterward is that this foul deed shall smell above the earth with carrion men groaning for burial. That is a beautiful, beautiful line, and I absolutely love it. Moving on. One of my favorite speeches in Shawshank Redemption was the parole hearing for Red at the end. Now, this was very, very insightful, because do I feel regret? Not because I'm in here, because you think I should. I look back at the way I was then, a young, stupid kid who committed that terrible crime. I want to talk to him. I want to try to talk some sense to him, tell him the way things are, but I can't. That kid's long gone, and this old man is all that's left, which is true. Which is true. He wouldn't recognize the younger him and be able to communicate with the younger him any more than you are communicating with the old him. Like, it's gone. The opportunity's gone. The man is gone. Everyone has moved on. There's nothing else. Like, in one way, it's defeated, but at the same time, it's him claiming who he is right now and not bothering to live up to whatever these people think rehabilitation looks like. Like he says, it's just a bullshit word. Doesn't mean anything. And then, of course, the movie full of motivational speeches. If you're black, Malcolm X. Yo, I'm one of those people, I refuse to say that Malcolm X is a radical or an extremist. No, you are an extremist if you'll stand there and let someone beat you and abuse you. We'll talk about the principles of the movements later, but that's extreme. Defending yourself and not letting someone kill you is perfectly fucking normal. Like, that's what everyone would have a reaction to. Someone's trying to hurt you, someone's trying to steal from you, or someone's proven time and time again that they don't consider you to be a human being whose life is worth protecting. You protect yourself from that person. That's not extreme at all. All right. And to his point, if the so-called Negro in America was truly an American citizen, we wouldn't have a racial problem. If the Emancipation Proclamation was authentic, we wouldn't have a race problem. If the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution were authentic, we wouldn't have a race problem. If the Supreme Court desegregation decision were authentic, we would not have a race problem.
Well,
right? Like, honestly. And I feel like that's the thing about Malcolm X. Like, just his insight was a little too sharp for these people. They couldn't process it. It was too good. It was too good. The man was just too good. Like, that's really all it was. Like, they just could not handle how quick this man honestly was, you know? And you know what? You brought up Braveheart earlier. I don't hate the speech in Braveheart. I'll be honest with you. I don't hate the speech in Braveheart. I know Mel Gibson then made shit real creepy and weird, but you know what?
Just a little bit. Okay.
That's just what you do when you're old.
Right? It was like
and the black side's not much better, to be fair.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
And the Prince had a better speech, to be
fight and you may die, run and you'll live, at least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom?
Cue the music.
Cue the music.
Scared.
You know, like, there it is. Like, it's an excellent speech. And again, it just talks about, I'll say he really related to, I mean, we've already talked about all the historical inaccuracies in that movie, but I think it's absolutely, true. Like, you're talking about tyranny in its purest form. These people need to understand, like, this is your shot. This is your shot at freedom. Are you going to go home, or are you going to continue to bend over to these lords and this king that you know nothing or who cares nothing for you? I thought it was brilliant. James Earl Jones, I realized after Conan, can talk me into joining a snake cult. And I don't think that that's inaccurate. I will join a fucking snake cult because purging is at last at hand. The day of doom is here. All that is evil, all their allies, your parents, your leaders, those who would call themselves your judges, those who have lied and corrupted the earth, they shall all be cleansed. I would get on that bus. There it is. I am joining a cannibal snake cult, and that's it. I just joined a cannibal snake cult because James Earl Jones can do that. Don't ask me why.
I mean, why throw away the meat? That's really what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, these people are getting eaten. These people are getting eaten. Speaking of eating people, capitalism. The The man who brought it, well, the man who brought it together for the 80s was obviously Michael Douglas and Wall Street, but the 90s, or at least late 80s, was more Alec Baldwin and Glenn Ross. Great
Hells yes.
speech. Again,
Absolutely.
it makes you want, and the thing that got me about this, all right, you see this? You see this watch? That watch costs more than your car. I made $970,000 last year. How much do you make? You see, pal? That's who I am. And you're nothing. A nice guy? I don't give a shit. Go be a good father? Fuck you. Go home and play with your kids. You want to work here? Close. It's like, okay, so basically I can't be a good father or a good husband or a good man, but I can be rich. That's what you're telling me. All right. That's what you're saying.
To get those Glengarry leads.
I guess so. To get those.
These are the Glengarry leads, okay?
Glengarry leads.
From downtown.
Right. The Glengarry leads from downtown. And it was great. It was great for him. And let's be honest, it was great for capitalism because nothing quite did it better than that speech. And when he pulls out the actual brass balls,
holds it in front of his own balls.
Actual brass balls. Special. I mean, I want to say another like really special one because this one honestly caught me completely off guard. I did not think, and I don't know if, I mean, there's such a thin line between a speech and a monologue. Like I don't, I didn't really know for sure whether or not this was a
shout
speech
out to
or a
Aaron
monologue.
Sorkin.
Right? Seriously. But Gandalf at Minas Tirith in Return of the King, just this one line. The old wisdom born out of the West was forsaken. Kings made tombs more splendid than the houses of the living and counted the names of their descent dearer than the names of their sons. Childless lords sat in aged halls musing on heraldry or in high cold towers asking questions of the stars. I was like, motherfucking Ian McKellen, what did you just do? What did you just do, sir? You just dropped some melody upon me. Like, yo, wow, that was gorgeous. That was absolutely beautiful. England, you need to put Tolkien on the motherfucking flag. Like, period. Like, just give that man exactly what he deserves. And I know I'm going on and on and on, and honestly, I can go on and on and on forever. But I had one more that I definitely wanted to do. Ultron.
Yeah.
Ultron blew my mind.
I was thinking Transformers too.
Right. Ultron, Avengers. But yeah.
Ultron. I was thinking Transformers, sorry.
His speech was, it made you think. Just this one part, where he said, you want to save the world, but you don't want it to change. I was like, you know what? Of all the examinations and observations that people are trying to make about comic books and comic book culture, that one actually sticks. You have to change to make the world a better place. You can't say that you want, the world to stay the exact same and you don't want anybody to be inconvenienced, but you want it to be a better place. And the fact that this robot got that pretty quickly off the bat, I say, really does. It blew my mind. I was like, hold on, maybe the Avengers aren't helping. But then, it's a Marvel movie. So eventually they kick the cat and you can't be on their side anymore. Special shout out to a couple more. Kevin Spacey in Seven, Only in a World This Shitty. Could these people be called innocent? Special shout out to Robert Loggia in Unnecessary Roughness.
That was on the list.
Rip
I
off
put
their
that
heads
on the
and
list.
I tried to say it earlier,
necks.
but my mouth said fuck you.
And then Regan in The Matrix. Ignorance is bliss. It absolutely is. The Great Dictator, you're wrong. And then lastly, but not leastly, a man who was totally phoning it in and did not give a shit at this point in his career, Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now. The horror. The horror.
Yeah, well, I mean, firstly, just to point out to you, because I mentioned the Henry V St. Crispin's Day speech, Braveheart is a ripoff of that, just to be clear.
It is. Yeah.
Just to be clear. All right. You got to get the origin, got to get the sample in. I get it. And he goes on from it. And honestly, even as a Jew, I still like to watch Braveheart. Okay, I still like to watch. I still like to watch Braveheart, and I still like to watch The Road Warrior. Okay,
It's fine.
Well, to be
kill
fair,
the,
neither one of
kill
those.
the artist. Kill the artist. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
neither one of those movies are about anti-Semitism, so I think you're safe
Yeah,
across the board. You know what I
right.
mean? Like, I think you're good.
Yeah,
Death of the art. Death of the author. There it is.
yeah. I'm not. I mean, I didn't. I don't. I think I watched Passion of the Christ once. I'm not rewatching.
I've
that
never seen
anyway
that movie.
after
I have no
that.
desire.
I've never seen it either.
No
I've
desire
never seen it
to see
either.
that bullshit.
Yeah, it's like Christian torture porn. I think is the best.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
The best way I'd describe it. It's like, okay, because yeah, I'm probably historically accurate to a certain extent.
And
But
now
okay.
that I'm out of my little cloud, to be fair, Ultron was an AI, so
Okay.
not a robot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Was he an
Yeah,
AI?
Yeah.
well, certainly by the time you're talking the Joss Whedon Avengers movie, absolutely.
Well,
You know,
all
it's
right.
that idea of self-aware AI.
If we're talking
and-
about speech, show me the comic. He said that speech. We're talking
right.
about
Yeah, no. I think
Yeah.
you're on. I think you're on to it, RaShaun. I think 100%. I think you nailed it. But all right, I like it. I like what your choices were. Without a doubt. Gregory, as always, cleaning up for us, getting us all in the right place in the right zone,
absolutely.
and taking us home as I knew he would. So I had no doubt about that. But all right, you know, when you're looking for those places, when you need that place, when you need to go to that place to just get you up and get you out the door and doing those things you need to do, because let's be honest, right? For most of us, hopefully we're not going to war on any given day. And hopefully we're not, it can feel like that, but sometimes that drudgery of life, right? We're trying to just get ourselves up to go out to face those average everyday jobs that we have, and that most of us our memories are not going to be here to ring through the ages, to quote Gladiator, right? What we do rings through the centuries. That's that's nice, but
What do we do now? Echoes through eternity.
Eternity. Let's be honest.
Fair, the popularity of that movie made it cliche, not that it's an actual bad speech. I mean, that could easily be on anyone's inspirational speeches for a reasonable reason.
Sure, you're right. I get it, but
Mhm.
let's be honest. How many names are going to be remembered, right? It's the exception. It's the exception,
Marcus
not the rule.
Aurelius,
Right? Hey, you know, there you go. Right?
so far,
It is still impressive that anything survives throughout history. But all right, there we go. We got those inspirational speeches. Hopefully we imparted something to the Steam people, and hopefully that it
absolutely
brings it
not.
on and gets them out and up and out through their day. Yeah, no, that's really not what we do.
No,
We just sit here.
no.
We just sit around and
You
bullshit.
do not
Get out
claim-
there, folks. You rip that day's head off and you shit down its
Shit
neck.
down its neck. By the way, Robert Loggia, that is so much better than Tony.
Tony.
You know what a hassa is?
Tony. Let's
Tony.
hope that as his memory goes on, let's hope that speech from Necessary Roughness is how we remember Robert Loggia, and not for the spray tan version of him trying to play
That is
Latina.
the only way I remember Robert Loggia.
What, the Latino version with the spray tan?
No,
You mean the entire Latino set?
No,
I mean, it's funny how he goes to
I mean,
Robert Loggia in that
we
movie
said-
and not anyone else who's also not Latino.
I mean, it's fair,
Cuban,
but Robert
South American,
Loggia in
Central
that is
American,
a particular
that.
type of atrocity. Let's be honest. Like, yes, Al Pacino had no right to be doing what he did, without a doubt.
No. I mean, we're talking.
Mary Stuart Masterson.
We're talking about
Master Antonio. Thank you very
Hollywood
much.
post John Wayne as Attila the Hun. I mean, we're not doing that.
Stephen
Yeah,
Bauer.
I give Scarface absolutely zero thought any time of the day. No, I was talking about Necessary Roughness. His character in that movie is the one who actually saves that team, because not only Is he the one making the smart decisions where he gets on, these proper misfits and gets them in place? Actually, I think he's the one who went out and got Scott Bakula. No, he didn't, but he's the one who actually set up like their defense because he had to take over for the big game,
right?
Because
he's there in the big
he's the one who actually does it and actually wins. He's the hero of that movie.
Well,
and
he
gives that great fucking speech.
Yeah, he's a yin to yang. I mean, I'm not
he
sure
was
they're
great.
winning without, ironically, the guy is casted with who, ironically, is of Latino descent. Consider the conversation at hand.
Tony.
I already forgot Scarface. It's okay. I already forgot it. It's gone.
Well, it's similar to like hating the artist. If you get caught up in a movie like that for actual historical reference accuracy and representation, then you're probably missing the point.
You're probably
you're definitely missing the point.
yeah. And the guy who built Killdozer is no one to look up to. All right, we'll go on that. You can Google that, people. Trust me.
Robert Loggia was in Gladiator with Cuba Gooding Jr.
He was.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
right.
About
that one.
Yeah. To this day, I think if I ever get it weird enough, I get a fight, I'm gonna hit someone with the top of my forehead. Hopefully, I break their fucking fist. Thanks to Gladiator.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to think. What was that boxing movie?
We brought up Gladiator with Cuba Gooding Jr. Well, that is our lane. That is what we do. All right,
there was probably a speech in there.
We are here. We are back. We are the Steam Gentlemen. We are your place for pop culture, social commentary. Follow us on the socials. We are the Steam Gentlemen podcast on Facebook. We are Do You Even Steam Bro at Instagram. We're out there on some of the other ones, but yeah, check us, Google us, all that fun stuff. Please go and rate and review us on iTunes. We want to be out there. We still want to get that. We're still trying to get it back together and make that dick bill money because that's what it's all about. But until that, let's find out let's check in with everybody, what's going on. Gregory, what you doing until we next record?
Oh, it's we're coming up on playoff season, so that's most of my life right now.
All right, fair.
And life.
Yeah. All right. Good times.
Life.
All right, life be life, and
life be life, and life be life.
It's giving.
Thanks. All right, it's good. All right, we're going in there. RaShaun, what you got coming up? What you got going on for the week?
Sort of have such a problem with that expression. All right, I need someone to pipe in some nondescript Arabic women singing in the background as I lead out. So here's the deal with speeches. On top of the chemistry that I pointed out to make it inspirational for you whenever it happens, it also has to be somewhat have some sort of finality to it. Like we just watched Rogue One. And there's a couple of speeches in that. And depending on who you are, I can see it being impactful. Why? Because everyone fucking dies at the end. Like what they were fighting for and what they talked about in speech actually held true to what they're sacrificing. So it doesn't necessarily have to come down to the sacrifice. There's plenty of speeches throughout a lot of different IPs. It can be in cartoons, in episodic form. It could be in movies that are singular, like what we've talked about. Hopefully Gladiator and Flight Club, although I understand Gladiator 2 is coming out, so fuck me. But I would argue that's what makes a good speech. And I got nothing else going on, so I chose to use that time too. Vin Diesel,
perfect.
Do a good speach. How about that?
Oh, I don't know.
Ooh, doesn't he though?
I think
he does. Times, and by that, no.
Oh, and here's I'm gonna give you Vin Diesel's best speech right now.
We're family.
Right here, ready? Should have taken the money, Tombs. That is his best speech right there. Okay, that's in the Chronicles of Riddick, and he's absolutely 100% right.
I'm okay with
should have taken the money, Tombs. That's all the way to it. All right.
I'm okay.
So that was his best speech. He knew it. He knew it. I knew it. Everybody knew it at the time. Hopefully there'll be some more Riddick movies. Yes, I'll fucking watch a fourth Riddick movie. I'll tell you that right now. I will watch it right now.
So will I. I mean, you're not saying much. We're sci-fi.
Okay.
Man.
All right. So fair.
I mean, you literally will because it's probably coming out.
Yeah, hopefully. You know, I can always hope.
If it's like Pitch Black, I'm in. I mean, I'm in 100%. No matter what, I guess, but
100%. Who knew that would be his franchise when it all comes down to it. All right. Well, I'm just doing my usual stuff, doing dad duty, trying to hang in there. We've got some hockey games coming up.
Doing dad duty.
Yeah, trying to keep my kids, really trying to keep myself sane, trying to keep my kids from driving me insane. That's what I do in the meantime. Occasionally make people's lives sweaty and miserable. Nothing too much, nothing too much out of the ordinary there. But
There's
yes,
sweat, there's groaning, but not fun.
no, that's not how I do it.
CNC Music Factory.
Everybody dance now. All right, but we're on the run up. We're on the run up to JFI 50, which is gonna happen. And RaShaun, you're gonna be on the karaoke machine. Just so you know, that shit is gonna happen. We're gonna get shitty. We're gonna get messed up, and we're gonna sing a lot of karaoke. That shit is gonna happen. I'm telling you. I'm going to hear your rendition of Knocking the Boots. That's going to happen.
I will be in a religious ceremony.
There is no way you can do that to a bunch of post bar mitzvah boys and not do that for me. All right, that shit's going to happen. I'm going to hear that shit.
I didn't sing that. I lip synced it.
It's going to happen. Just to be clear, all right, for everybody out there in our listening audience, all two of you at this point. All right, we're all good. But until such time, until we meet again, which we hope will be very soon, it is I, the Birdman, telling you to keep your heat up and keep your head of steam on.